I will feed my dog.
Exercise my dog.
I will groom my dog.
I will play with my dog.
Sometimes I see my cat move with the sun around the house.
Keeping the dog's safety, security, and stress levels at bay by creating a really nice, welcoming environment.
The fear of the parent gets
Yeah.
transferred to the
Child, your focus is always on the dog.
You're just letting your dog be a dog.
They all matter. The ones at home matter. The breeds matter. The streeties matter. They all matter. Dog people in a podcast, they forget the podcast and start playing with the dog.
My connection with animals started when I was a kid.
There's a huge difference between an animal lover and a professional who understands them.
Sorry, have you already started?
Yeah.
Because the camera wasn't on. You started talking before I even prepared. So I don't know.
Responsible pet parenting. How much time do you have, Shiv?
Hi, welcome to Four Legs into Mics. My name is Shivani Mathur. Today on the podcast, I have a very special guest who's a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Ragini Parmar. She's the co-founder of Padi Baki, a doggy events company we launched in 2011. It was the first of its kind. So I've been waiting to get into this conversation with her. Hi, Rags.
Hi, Shivani.
How's the patting with Lana going?
It's going amazing. But thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
My first memory was Ragini walking into the house. This was the first day we got Watson. We picked him up at night. The second day, sorry, he'd spent a night, and it was raining. It was July, and Ragini's gumboot was probably 3 times the size of Watson. And without saying hi to her, he ran out, picked up her gumboot, and took it straight to his bed. If you remember that.
Yep.
And then our story started.
We started in a canine events company called Padi Baki Hai, and we had a blast. I'm hoping the people who came had a blast. We did lots of fun things like creating these booklets for first-time pet parents. It really helped us as well.
Yeah.
Shivani was absolutely militant about taking photographs for everything.
Yeah. Ragini was Watson, my bulldog's first dog trainer. Ragini also had a very interesting story about her dog, Miso.
Yeah, she was the first dog I was hired to train.
Okay.
And because her human was in the process of moving, she wanted to train her ASAP. But that wasn't, it never goes
As planned.
for our timelines. So she was going to rehome her, thinking of rehoming her to a farm, because she was a very high energy dog.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, me.
So you brought your first client home.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I think the entire journey was so much fun. Of course, understanding even the training part of it, which went on for 2 years,
Yeah.
was so much fun for me, because it was her growing while I was growing as well. So
As a trainer.
Yeah, we were both teaching each other so much.
You learned a lot from Miso.
A lot.
I think I also learned a lot from Miso. And you, but Miso more probably.
Yeah, so it was lovely.
And
Yes.
then we would just chat, and we would be like, I'd come from Delhi, you have lawns outside your house, and living in Mumbai. And I was like, where is the garden? Like, what can we do with these dogs? And that's when we decided to start Padi Baki Hai. We were also together in our canine behavior course, and
Yeah.
that's how we knew each other.
Yes,
And that's where Padi Baki Hai came from.
absolutely right.
And what did you think of how Padi Baki Hai went down? Let's chat about PBH.
I think it happened very organically, Shiv. It was you with your events background and training, and me with my dog training
And behavior.
and behavior. And both of us just like really wanting a space or creating spaces for humans to really connect and bond with their dogs.
Yeah.
Because in a city like Bombay, it is difficult.
Yeah.
It is also difficult to take the time out and really enjoy that time with your dog. It becomes a little monotonous, and I think that's what we really wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think it was just so focused on, it started off with poor dogs.
Yeah.
Like these poor dogs, all our lives in our childhood, dogs have had so much space. You know, they've just had so much freedom. And here, these dogs are stuck in apartments all the time. And it came from the want to do better for our own dogs. And that's where Padi Baki Hai came from. You know, like it literally started with let's do better for Miso and Watson, and then share it with everybody else. And I think there was so much learning on the go. I mean, I had that thing in my head that okay, this is how events are done because I have that much. You had your thing of this is how dogs are. Now, when you combine it all together, how it goes down, like pet-friendly restaurants. We were so militant about the number of dogs we were going to let in to our events. It wasn't just whoever comes pays the fee and comes in. What are your thoughts on that?
I think yes, we were very quality conscious, also very conscious of creating a safe and a happy space for the dog. Rather than shoves, like create, it becomes cacophonic, but you wanted it to be a really good experience for the human and the dog. So I think that is something I can't remember our first, how many did we have shows, do you remember?
Which one was that? Our launch party, 16 dogs.
Oh yes, our launch party, 16 dogs.
16 dogs. You remember their names?
No, I remember
Snoopy,
Paddington.
Mrs. Paddington, Nicole's dog, Snoopy,
Yeah.
Kunal's retriever. There was Kajri, there was Panther.
Yes.
There was Gigs, your student,
Dhruti.
the Beagle, Miso and Watson.
Miso and Watson.
And there were a few more.
There were a few more.
And we had a canine nutritionist at our launch party.
Yes.
We had dogs groomers who were there, who were just, we were so careful. We're like, you're not doing anything that will stress the dog out. And she just, what were they doing? They were just giving them a brush and touch. It was almost like a happy visit of getting patted and
like a little bit of massage.
We had a ball pool.
Yes, we did. Oh my God. That was a hit.
Always. The pools were always a hit. I just remember the desensitization to sound was very important for multiple reasons. One is during Ganpati and Diwali, dogs get scared. And in our behavior course, we learned that if a dog is scared, the worst thing you can do is go pat him and say, no, don't be afraid. Which is the first thing I probably did with my dogs back home when I hadn't done the behavior course. I've seen my friends do it. I've seen my family do it. I've seen everyone say, oh, poor thing, he's scared. And I remember with Watson, I had literally when those dhol guys were downstairs, I would walk him. So if a bomb actually went off under Watsy's bum, he won't even react because I had desensitized him. And now with my current 2 dogs who are streeties who have come in, they are petrified of sound, you know, and I've never seen that level of fear in an animal. And I really wonder what happens to the ones on the street. If these two are actually behind walls feeling that scared. You know, so that desensitization to sound program was for the dogs to be able to come into a music festival with multiple stages, with large crowds. And we had asked the pet parents who'd signed up for NH7 to work on this program for a month. Before bringing their dogs to NH7.
Yes, also we were very, very careful about how close the dog could be to
the stage. Yes.
We
had created a Lakshman Rekha. They were not allowed to cross. The pet parents were told they can't. They had to be in the vicinity of...
I think the beauty of this also, like, I think our reasoning was so solid
that people followed through.
People follow through because it's not easy to. But to be able to follow through so that they could be part of this was just phenomenal. Even our games arena was in the evening. We made sure it was a safe space. It wasn't very tiring on the legs. There
enough water bowls everywhere.
Everywhere. And it was a really huge venue.
We had water bowls everywhere.
So I think attention to these needs is what made it a seamless experience for and a very wholesome and trusting experience for the humans. Because it was so new then. It was so new back then.
So when you say a dog event, I think the first thought that would go into people's head would be a dog show because that was the only thing that used to happen, right?
No fancy dress.
No putting your dogs in clothes.
You're just letting your dog be your dog.
That was really important.
Yeah. Shivs, what did you like best about Padi Baki Hai?
I liked the fact that it brought so many people together. There was genuine joy at Party Baki Hai events. People walked in very reserved and left very khulla and happy and khush.
Yeah.
More and more people kept joining. The families got bigger. So whether it was the son or the daughter, Dadi was also coming, cousin was also coming, and it became a more than a dog event, it became a family outing, which is what we wanted because our main goal was that they are family.
Yeah. What was the most challenging part of Padi Baki Hai?
Keeping everything besides Ragini, I think keeping everything cost effective for me.
Yeah.
It was crucial for me to crack the collabs, for us to get our spaces for free, for us to get enough volunteers to come and help us, getting our photographers on board. And what I liked about our collabs at Party Baki Hai, it wasn't just one-sided. That I wanted to do my event, so I made sure that all these people were there. We collaborated with people that we also helped lift up with us.
Yeah.
So it is so crucial of having a win-win collab for everybody involved. So it's not that, oh, it's my event. I do need this person. I do need that person. I do need that person. Am I giving that person enough of mileage at my event? That is something I learned with events.
In the process of growing PBH and having a very clear vision and following through that with that vision, because there were a lot of no's also that had to be said.
And we did.
Because, so a lot of people, once it took off, wanted to be a part, wanted to
Yes, so
collaborate.
If you remember, within 1 year, a very large brand wanted to buy us.
Yeah.
And we said no.
Yeah.
Because our vision and their product, we chose the dog's well-being over the money that could have probably made Party Baki an empire right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of money that we were offered back then.
Yeah.
We were just like, no.
No, we do not want money. We never want money.
Not the best way to go into business. But gods were kind. Party Baki Hai funded itself after 6 months after on paper failing to look like you'd ever make money, you'd go into losses.
Yeah.
It kind of autopilot and funded itself. So my one piece of advice to anyone who feels very overwhelmed with opening something new, something unique, it's about collaborations. It's about finding the right people that you can kind of grow together with and that bring in different skill sets to make something magical happen. And be open, be flexible, and open to collaborations.
Yeah.
But good collaborations.
I think the one thing also is when we were not doing events, we were constantly ideating.
Yes. Oh my God.
On new programs, whether it be the school program.
Yes.
Like constant ideation, constant work.
You have to evolve your programs. You have to take your learnings from it and keep making each one bigger and better.
Yeah.
You left Party Baki Hai after 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a difficult decision because I guess, apart from recognizing that my mental health I needed to work on it.
Yeah.
I needed to not juggle so many things.
And you were doing what all?
I was Party Baki Hai.
Yes.
Training, behavior, and training in the hair academy as well as a hairstylist, because that's what I was before.
Yeah.
And I got into dog training and behavior because I physically couldn't be on the floor as a hairstylist. And when I couldn't work, the one thing that I did think of because of my childhood was working with them.
That's why you decided to become a canine trainer and behaviorist.
Yeah. Unfortunately, back then, now there's so many feline behavior courses.
Yeah.
Back then, there weren't any. Right?
Yeah.
So even groomers were just coming up then.
Back then. Nutritionists
also. I think just being overwhelmed with my mental health physical health, not being able to juggle it all, taking that pause
Yeah.
was important because, again, the type of people we are, we can't
Do half-ass stuff.
yeah, it's giving
All.
everything.
Yes. Especially when you're working with animals, Rag.
Yeah.
What is responsible pet ownership for you?
When you are taking on, whether it is a cat or a dog, to really understand what all it entails.
Yeah.
Also, because it's not by the by.
Yeah.
You have to make time for it. You have to create space for it in your life. I'm saying, but you have to create space for the animal in your life. But it starts off with really understanding what your lifestyle is like and which breed would work for you best. If you adopt, then great. If you don't, then responsible breeding is important.
So getting your dog from an ethical breeder.
From an ethical breeder. And not being in a hurry, because that...
Have you seen that in your time when you were a trainer?
Yes.
What is the hurry?
It's just, I want a puppy and I want a puppy now. And this is the puppy I want, without really understanding
Or researching?
or researching the breed, researching what all it entails, the care, the looking after, the vet visits, exercise, food, all of that. And I think that's really important. So responsible breeding starts from the ideation process, like, oh, I'm thinking of...
Responsible ownership.
Sorry.
Responsible ownership.
What did I say?
Breeding.
Yes. Responsible ownership begins from there. Then also, to me, I felt like with my dog Miso, as you know, when I was a trainer, she was my first client
Yeah.
that I brought home with consent from her previous
Yeah,
one.
that's like the trainer's guide of what not to do.
What not to do.
Right. Ticked off the first. When I had gone into my canine behavior course where I actually met Ragini, I remember Shirin mentioning this in the behavior course of, this is what I tell everyone, and we have one person here who's gone ahead and done it.
Yeah.
And that's Ragini. When you go in to train a dog, do not adopt it. Or something on those lines. And I just looked at her and I was like, I want to know this girl. I'm like, who is this girl? What is she doing? And I'm like, you can come and train my dog in case I don't want him, you can adopt him.
Yeah. Fail-safe trainer.
Yeah. Rags, you've also been a multi-species pet parent,
Yes.
right? So one of my guests recently had said a lot of people think cats are small dogs.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
My cat was brought up by my dog. So my cat is very dog-like. So Ori, my cat, when Miso was around, when I'd play find it with her at home, Ori would go running and find the treat way before my dog would. So I'd have to like lay down 2 treats so that my cat could eat one and then my dog would eat one.
Oh, but not all cats are like that, Rags.
I guess not.
Yeah. Yours happens to be a dog.
Yes, mine happens to be a dog. We've also traveled with him to Goa.
Yeah.
We've traveled, we take him in backpack walks. He loves his drives. So I think my idea of what a cat is slightly skewed.
Okay, so we'll stick to the dogs then.
Yes.
Have you trained in homes which had cats and dogs
There's a difference when the cat
present?
is already present or the cats are already present and a puppy comes in. So then introduction becomes a lot more different than, I feel, than a dog being there and then a kitten coming in.
Yeah.
I guess it's also case specific, but I did work with a dog who was adopted a year after the 2 cats were adopted, and it was challenging because the cats were territorial. Also, they are very creatures of habit and routine, cats,
Like dogs.
but a lot more. I
more.
feel like if the litter is here, the litter has to be there.
Yes, I believe they get stressed if you move the litter.
If the water is given a certain way, it has to be given that way.
Yeah.
Food, has to be given us. So it needs to be by routine. Like sometimes I see my cat move with the sun around the house.
Like a clock, like a sundial.
Yeah.
Oh.
This time to this time he's here. Then he knows. Then he's in another part of the house. It's so
Amazing.
routine driven, Shivs, and it's self routine as
So
opposed to a
amazing.
dog.
I remember one of the vets said cats are mysterious creatures.
They really are.
And
They really are.
they're very good at hiding their health symptoms.
Yeah. I think you have to be very on the ball
Clued
with
in.
them because they're also so solitary. So they have a lot of hiding spots
Yeah.
and usually get into those spaces when they're unwell.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're really, really amazing. They have a very, very twisted sense of humor.
What do you mean? Please explain.
When you, they just like, I feel like they will make the human work.
More. The cat.
Yeah, they do. The twisted sense of humor, also apex predators in like this tiny body that has been domesticated.
Your cat is quite a character.
My cat is
Clearly.
not an apex predator.
Okay.
He's just a little diva.
Okay.
So Shivs, I'm going to ask you because I'm very curious about it. You had an English bulldog,
Yes.
and now you have
Two indies
two indies.
that adopted me.
Yes, that adopted you.
Yeah. Yes. Let's be clear about that.
No, but do you see a difference between the?
Oh my God. Do I see a difference? They're two different worlds. As breeds, definitely. I mean, he was an English bulldog, hated walking. These two are freedom fighters from some other generation, and they jump like Lucy can jump 5 feet. Stoopy just barks the neighborhood down. There's so much of learning of indies that I've had with these two. You know, I mean, we've always had breeds.
Yeah.
At home, I've never had an indie at home. And of course, we did our breed-specific clubs at Pari
Yes,
Baki hai,
yes.
where Rajeshri Khalap helped us with her
Yeah,
in-dog project
absolutely,
and gave us
yeah.
so much insight on indies
But it was so nice to
to have
that's
information.
information, be
Learning.
part of that experience.
Yeah.
We learned so much, Shivs.
Yeah, we learned so much about indies back
Yeah.
then, and how much I have learned about indies in the last 3 years working in Give Goa Dogs and working with welfares. And what I really liked is the learning of Pari Baki hai coming into Give Goa Dogs. You know, which was really nice because our tunnels from our agility stuff, AstroTurf grass, which was used for Watson, toys, because we know that dogs need toys of different textures. People just tend to give a ball to a dog, not even realizing that when you give a dog a ball, it has to be 2 times the size of the dog's mouth so it doesn't swallow it and can actually play with it, right? So a lot of welfares in Goa and other states, I have sent a lot of enrichment stuff. It is, to their surprise, the streeties under their care are actually using the tunnels, are playing with the toys.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's giving the welfare workers joy to see their animals having fun.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
I don't know which year this was, but we taken Miso to Khar Medan to play, and there was your husband, you and me were there, and there were a bunch of school kids playing soccer,
Yeah.
and Miso was off leash. Miso was off leash, and she saw the ball and she went running, and one of these boys just kicked the football into, and I think it hit Miso on her face.
Yeah.
And it really upset me. I know it really upset you.
Yes, it did.
And the person that was the most balanced was Giant, your husband, where he was like, guys, I don't think the kids meant to do it. And you and I were very riled up about it because we were like, how can you hit a dog, right? And it was so close to home.
Yeah.
Because it was Miso.
Yeah.
Miso is one of the friendliest, calmest dogs
Yeah.
you'll meet. It's just that she was a big dog. She was a mix between a hound and a lab. I don't know what she was. She was huge. She was really slender, like a Saluki she was.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
I
you're
think she had a little bit of Saluki in her.
right. But yeah, you're right.
And I remember Ragini's husband sitting us down and explaining to us, saying, people are scared of dogs and they might not feel as much as you both feel,
Yeah.
right? To protect them. And we went into this space of now we want to conduct a workshop to work with people who have a fear of animals. And there were a lot of people interested in it. And we were also, Ragini and I, this is in 2011, we were discussing to introduce a course for compassion for animals. And unfortunately, we didn't manage doing it with Party Baki Hai. But Give Goa Dogs has done it and has been doing it for over a year.
It's amazing.
You know, and I feel it is so crucial, more than just going in. I've been observing that most of the education programs start off with be kind to animals, don't throw stones at animals. I don't agree with that format. It's a very broad statement.
Yeah.
Why are we singling out the dog, saying don't throw a stone on a dog? Just don't throw a stone at anyone. It hurts everyone,
Yes,
right? Whether it's a
absolutely.
human, dog, bird, cat, tree.
Yeah.
Let's just not throw stones.
I think it's commendable, Shivs, that even though it took 10 years,
Yeah.
but you're doing this because it's so important. And we don't, I mean, my connection with animals started when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with you and
Yeah.
anyone else that you speak to who work with
around
them,
animals,
around
same.
it starts, and it's such an important aspect, and sometimes the fear of the parent gets
Yeah.
transferred to the
Child, yes.
even though they may not want it to be
Yeah.
transferred, but they just can't control it, so it does get transferred. So what you're doing in these schools is phenomenal.
What would your tips be for a first-time pet parent?
Have questions, make time,
Yeah.
do not fill a void.
You say that. Can you explain that, please?
This void, it could be an emotional void. They're
Yeah.
not there to fill that void. They do not humanize them.
Do not humanize them.
Do not humanize them.
Get a dog because you want a dog.
You want to have a companion who has equal right to his life,
Yeah.
his needs.
Not just to fill yours.
Yeah.
Rags, can you, from the book, recite a
It was so cute.
Party Baki Hai? It was I remember it was raise your paw and follow.
I will.
I will love my dog.
I will feed my dog.
Exercise my dog.
I will groom my dog.
I will play with my dog.
I will train my dog. It's so important. I will clean up after my dog.
Never hit my dog.
I will ensure my dog's medical needs are met when required.
And I will ensure that my dog attends enough Party Baki Hai events. That's commandment 10.
Are you planning on doing another Party Baki Hai event this year?
Are you free?
It's very similar to the conversation we had when we started the company.
Thank you, Ragini, for being on this podcast and sharing all your personal thoughts about me and asking me questions and doing a role reversal which was not planned, but I'm glad you did and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I loved it. I don't know why we're ending so soon. But thank you for having me, Shivs. It's always so much fun. Of course, we can keep talking.
Yeah, so we need to stop at some
Yeah,
point.
we need to stop.
Yeah?
Now, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. We'll be back with more episodes with less crazy people, and hopefully catch you on the. I love you, Ragini. And see you on the next one.